We've assisted you in the purchase of your hardwood flooring. It is now time to discuss whether it'll be our installer or your installer completing the installation. For us, it really doesn't matter who does the installation. What matters most is that it's done properly following our installation guidelines. You can download these guidelines from our website. There is much more to a hardwood flooring installation than simply fastening the boards to the subfloor. Our guidelines go above and beyond to ensure your hardwood floor not only looks great, but performs as it should. At Gaylord Hardwood Flooring, we have a continuing education program to keep our installers updated with the newest techniques, equipment, and procedures so they can do the best job possible. Some installers look at our guidelines as being excessive and unnecessary. These are the installers that you do not want. The installer who has been installing hardwood flooring the same way for 20 years doesn't have 20 years experience, but 1 year experience 20 times. Anyone can nail boards into place, but a proper installation takes much more than that. Like any profession, hardwood flooring installation requires continuous learning. Some of the best installers we've met are young but eager to learn, and they become far more knowledgeable than someone who has been doing it longer and thinks they know everything. Good installers are always learning from their peers and taking National Wood Flooring Association courses. Dad and I love going to these courses because not only do we learn from them, but we meet like-minded people who are as interested in hardwood flooring installation as we are. Being a licensed carpenter, a cabinet maker, a fine woodworker, trimmer, or wood carver doesn't make you a hardwood flooring installer. As I said earlier, anyone can nail floorboards securely to plywood, but there are many other things that must be considered. Installers need to understand the relationship between moisture and wood. Otherwise, the floor may look great when they leave, but will have plenty of issues down the road. The installer must also consider the aesthetics of the floor. Wood flooring is a beautiful natural product, and you really want it to look that way. The installer must be sure to avoid having joints too close to each other, as well as H-joints and step joints. It is also important for the installer to avoid putting short boards in the center of the floor. Those boards should be used to start and finish rows and installed in closets, under cabinets, or other areas where they will not be seen, if possible. A good installer can make an average floor look great, and a bad installer can make a great floor look average. You must tell your installer what hardwood floor you've purchased. Exotic species are very dense and can be difficult to work with, especially if the installer has no experience with them. Rustic floors with large knots are very popular, but if an installer is used to only installing floors with no knots, they will look at the knots as defects and not appreciate the true beauty and character of the floor. Be sure to get a complete cost for the total installation. Quite often, basic installation rates seem cheap, but the installer charges extra for other things like installing bullnose, reducers, T-moles, and cutting door jambs and vent holes. I caution you not to negotiate too much on the price of the installation with your installer. You must realize the main expense for the installer is their time and the cost of the fasteners. Cutting the install rate only encourages the installer to do the job faster and not take the time to select the proper pieces, which can result in more waste. Also, using fewer fasteners than recommended is a way for the installer to keep the cost down. When you get a Gaylord install, you know what the cost will be before the job is started. No surprises. And this is how you should treat it with an outside installer you're working with as well. I'm not trying to convince you that your installer won't do a good job or scare you into having us do your installation. It's just that hardwood flooring is a big investment, and once it is installed, it is there for life. We've seen it too many times where a client hires their own installer and they do a terrible job. The client is unhappy and it reflects poorly on us. We want you to be proud to show off your hardwood floor to friends and family, not embarrassed because the installer did a poor job. Please have your installer take our online courses and become a Gaylord certified installer. If your hardwood flooring is installed following our installation guidelines, it will look great. But if your installer is unwilling to follow our guidelines, it may not. Thanks again for buying your hardwood flooring from us. And if you or your installer have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.